Today, let's go through 5 guaranteed skincare fails for 2024. Now, there are things to avoid, and unfortunately, many of you will fall into these traps this year, so please watch and share this video. Today, I'm talking skincare, procedures, and some huge concepts that you need to know. Imagine an artist who spends hours selecting the finest brushes, mixing vibrant colors, and creating intricate details on canvas. Despite this meticulous work, the artist dips one clumsy brush in the wrong color and smears it across the masterpiece. No matter how careful the artist is with the other brushes, that one misguided stroke disrupts the overall beauty of the painting. This is exactly what I see every day in my clinic. One wrong procedure and it's years to reverse the effects, if you can even reverse them. Very sad. Number 1, the Exosome facial. And there's a concept here. People are getting Exosome facials for $300 a pop, and that's a trap. First, you need to know what they are. Exosomes in skincare refer to small, extracellular vesicles. They're tiny. They play a role in cell communication. You see, these vesicles are released by cells that contain various biomolecules, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. The idea is that exosomes are derived from stem cells, you see. Most commonly, you're going to see them come from fat or even placenta. Well, they can be incorporated into skincare products to promote skin regeneration, repair, and overall health through this signaling. These vesicles deliver important signaling molecules to skin cells. There's exosomes for many things. In this case, we want skin, collagen, elasticity. Exosomes also can signal other things that aren't so good for you, like inflammation, like aberrant cells, and all kinds of things that you don't want happening in the body. We want the good signals. Now remember, I said they most commonly come from fat or placenta. That's what you see. There are some plant-derived ones, but you must consider the source. I just bought some for testing, and they were $689 for one vial for one face. You see, they take the person's bone marrow, the fat, or the placental cells, and they culture it to make a lot more cells. And that process isn't a $300 process, meaning if someone's getting you exosomes and they're charging $300 or $400, the cost of their product was $50 to $80. What is the source? Where's it coming from? That's what you need to ask. These are sterile, medically approved labs that you want to get them from. Obviously, there was a shortcut taken somewhere, and you don't want that to be with you. Understand, a lot of times you're microneedling these in for a microneedle facial. Think about the microneedling pen. Think about the cartridge that should be sterile on the tip of that pen, not a pen with needles that will dislodge and get in your face, not one where the needles are on angles so that they're going to rip your skin, but it needs to be a medically grade, sterile tip, and that's going to cost at least $40 or $50 right there. Then you have the time for the person to perform the procedure, the insurance, the rent, all those things. So when you're getting a $300 exosome facial, ask where it comes from. People, you need to be careful what you put into your body. You go exercise, you go to the gym, you go try and eat real food, you do all the right things, you sleep well, and then you go get a $300 exosome facial and you risk bloodborne pathogens and all the aforementioned issues. Let's not forget about all the people who have contracted HIV and hepatitis from trying to save a few dollars. Ask where your products come from. So that's the first one, because I was in ICAD, the International Congress of Aesthetic Dermatology, and there was exosome booths everywhere. You're going to see more and more in 2024. Number 2, and beware of this. Let's talk a little bit skincare. Think about it. Would you water a plant excessively in the hope that it will grow faster? Just as a plant needs a balanced amount of water to thrive, your skin requires a balanced skincare routine. Overdoing it will not lead to better results, and it will harm the skin. Much like drowning a plant with too much water can damage its roots and overall health. Just as moderation is key, caring for plants, the same principle applies to achieve optimal health and healthy results for your skin. Thus, my number 2 is overuse of actives like retinols and glycolics. You see, you're going to try and push the limits here by creating inflammation in your skin. More is not better. In fact, more is aging. What you want to focus on is consistency, routine, and you want to focus on gentle products. Think THD ascorbate. Take that for example. That is a form of vitamin C. It's fat soluble. It's stable. It was invented in Japan, where that's where gentle lives for your skin, there in South Korea. It's 50 times more potent than L-ascorbic acid, and it's not acidic. So you don't need to have this acidic, harsh skincare. You're going to see a move towards gentler and gentler products. Now, glycolics and retinols are awesome and they work well. You just don't want to overdo them. And what you want to look for in those products are things like this THD ascorbate. You'll find THD ascorbate, tetrahexyldecyl ascorbate in my peel pads. I'm going to release a new cream coming up here in the next month or two. It's also in my retinol along with avocado oil. You get the picture. You want to make these gentle and usable. The power of retinaldehyde without the inflammation. My C+ brightening eye cream, and of course my K-Beauty Korean sheet masks, which are great. They're gentle and they're made in Korea with original Korean ingredients. So consider that as number 2. Do not overwater your plant. Number 3, oh so important, facial fat loss procedures. Imagine sculpting this beautiful statue and you think that, well, removing more material and sculpting it more will make it look younger and more elegant. In reality, excessive chiseling is going to compromise the statue's integrity and original, the key here, beauty. Similarly, removing too much face fat in an attempt to appear younger will lead to an unnatural and aged appearance. You see, the natural contours and volume that you once had, they're essential for a youthful look. Think buccal fat removal. Eye fat, eye bag removal done wrong and too much fat removed, especially behind and above the eye, and the irregularities that are created by liposuction. Wait one more year, maybe 2, and everyone will be talking about this concept called dysregulation of fat pads. You've heard me talk about it for the last 10 years, the perils of facial fat loss and how it contributes to aging. It's why I developed my PRF, plasma fill, and easy gel techniques. Think about your eye. It's aging in a large part because of the fat loss, the shifting of the fat underneath and behind the eye. Why would you want that fat pad dysregulation anywhere in your face? We want healthy face fat. What are the culprits? Well, it's overuse or misuse of things like HIFU, RF, Ulthera, RF microneedling. Even the injectables like Kybella and PCDC, phosphatidylcholine and deoxycholate. While these things do tighten a little and they do get rid of fat nicely, that's how I use them to get rid of fat I don't want in certain areas. They lift a little bit, but not a lot. If you're using them primarily for lifting, you're going to end up losing your fat pads in the process. Don't treat with just anyone, and that's the key. And don't use these devices for the upper face unless you're with a true expert. You're not a guinea pig. Someone asked me the other day, how do I know if I'm seeing an expert? It's great advice, Rajani, but how do I know? How are providers meant to learn if not by experimenting? Well, you're not the experiment. That's the key here. We learn by preceptorship, okay? I've done thousands of these procedures, so obviously I know. I look at the face and I assess it. You want to find someone who's done at least hundreds and have done preceptorship with people who are experts who have done them. Hard to get in this industry, I'll tell you, but ask your provider. Great providers don't mind you asking, how many of these have you done? Are you confident? And here's how you pin them down. I give people a percentage. I think this is 95% likely to work for you. I think this is 65% likely to work for you. And I'll say, go get something else, or here's another alternative. But providers are only too happy to be honest with you because they want happy patients. That's who you should be seeing. What can you do to maintain your fat pads? Well, there's a lot, and I have complete videos. Think SPF, so sun doesn't kill your fat. You want to protect yourself from excess sun. LED exposure to 630 and 830 nanometers. Infrared light. That can help dysregulation with your fat pads. I'll put together a video on that if you want as well. And I have something special coming for you next month, and it's going to help you. But also things like PRF and biostimulators and exosomes used properly. Those are all things, polynucleotides, I'll throw that in there, PDRN. Those are all things that help your facial fat pads. Now, next on our list is unsupervised chemical peels. I'll use that word unsupervised. What do I mean? Well, chemical peels administered by professionals are absolutely great to rejuvenate the skin. However, attempting strong chemical peels or even moderate ones at home from untrained people, it results in burns, pigmentation issues, and scarring. It's devastating. As inflation's on the rise, and even though the government's going to tell you inflation is coming down, it's not. I know all the costs that go into practices and procedures in skincare. It's what I do. The prices are not going down. People are going to try and do more and more peels at home. And I know a number of companies that are trying to make at-home peels that are predictable, that are safe and compliant, and it's not that easy. It's taking them years to make. So I'm all for you doing these things at home. TCA, glycolic, low-dose phenols, retinol peels. Here's the thing. You have to be prepared to educate. Start slow, work your way up. And I would submit for the majority of you, think peel pads. These are pads that are moistened. They have more gentle ingredients. They can be used aggressively to peel more, but they can be used lightly so you can work your way up. And even using them lightly, there's great efficacy. Finally, let's talk about a concept. Now, fillers and Botox, the numbers are down. People are doing less and less, and this is coming through in the stats from the companies, but also providers and med spas. So when the numbers are down, that's great. People are less toxed and they're less filled. And that's great because neither of those products build collagen. I want you to build collagen. If you think about why would you ever fuel your car with a low quality, cheap gasoline and expect to perform it like a well-maintained high performance vehicle? That's how you want to think about your body. I can remember I used to dirt bike a lot and we ran like 125 two-strokes. And Washougal in Washington, there's a dirt bike track there, a kind of a section called Horsepower Hill. And we try and climb these, we'd be racing 125s. And what myself and a friend would do, we'd go down to the marina where we could get gas that was, I think it was 99 octane. Everyone else is getting gas that was like 87, 89, 91, as you see from the gas pumps when you get your car filled. And we had this high octane gas. Now, when we hit Horsepower Hill, we were top of the pack. Now, the downside is our engines would run way too hot, so we would risk burning out that engine, but we were to the top of the hill, and that gave us an advantage. Same thing with your body. Imagine fueling your body with low quality, low protein, high sugar products that aren't real, and fake food and things with xenoestrogens. The problem is real food isn't made available, and you have to go to the perimeter of your grocery store. The minute you go to the center, you're screwed. It's my belief that real food should be made available to people in society, but it's not. Understand that. So what do? Because no microneedling, no chemical peel, no skincare, no facelift, nothing is going to work if you get procedures done, but your inner body doesn't have the building blocks, the high octane fuel to create the collagen, the skin, the tightness, the glow. So what do you do about it? Well, there's 5 elements that you want to pay attention to: food, sleep, collagen intake, face and body bone, and finally hormones, hormone replacement or hormone optimization. You can do it naturally. Those are 5 things you want to think about. And know that most of the food that you're eating, unfortunately, does not contain what you need. This is why nutraceuticals are taking the market by storm. And there's more and more data, thankfully, more science, things like collagen powder, things like silica, things like people making your own collagen broth at home, supplementation. These are all important things that you want to consider. And something called adaptogens. Adaptogens are mainly plant sources, things like roots or naturally occurring plants that have properties that help give your body homeostasis, help support your hormones, your estrogen, your testosterone, and your hypothalamic axis. This is a major 2024 trend, and I don't want you to fall in the trap of getting all these procedures done and not taking care of the 5 elements that are most important. To that end, I put a video playlist up here on ways to naturally boost your collagen at home, and one down here on adaptogens so you can optimize your body and your nutrition to keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.